That's my 14-week-old Renaissance Bulldog and a pile of beef ribs. There's my other barbarians there. I like to feed my dogs stuff like this as a pack. It teaches them not to be food aggressive. You can see, you don't see any fighting. Everybody grabs a piece and eats it. People were wondering how Lobo does with food around with everybody else. You can see he's fine. Feeding puppies like this around adults that are well socialized around food teaches the puppies to be that way, teaches them boundaries. I know in some of my early videos when I showed all my puppies together as a group competing for fish and chicken, we're under the mistaken impression that that causes food aggression. It does not. What it fosters puppies to do is develop a pack mentality and teaches them boundaries and how to eat together. Canines eat as a group in the wild. Now when I feed my dogs their main meals, I do feed them those separately, just because I want to make sure that each dog is getting the right amount of food for its body weight, and I want them to take their time with those meals. But there are other times during the day when I do stuff like this, like with these beef ribs, which I wouldn't consider part of their meal. This is just a chew toy for them. A snack. I like to give them stuff like this in a group. Again, you can see all the dogs are well adjusted. You don't see any aggression, food aggression. They all grab their piece and go to their area and chew it. Again, I like showing this because, again, people didn't understand in some of my earlier videos what it was I was doing. And now you can see the results of that. Ulu is a 14-week-old Lycan Shepherd, which is a new breed in the early stages of development for anybody who might have a question on what a Lycan Shepherd is. Ogryn is a 14-week-old Renaissance Bulldog. He's 2 days older than Ulu. He was born April 21st and she was born April 23rd. My buddy Lobo here is a 3-year-old long-coated German Shepherd. of course, my pet monster, my good buddy Kurgan. He is a Blue Bay Shepherd. Now, for those who have questions on if I can touch the animals while they're eating or if they're food aggression, you see right now I'm petting him while he's chewing his bone. My hand's by his mouth. He doesn't mind at all. Same thing with Lobo. See me petting him, hand by his mouth. No growling, no aggression. Same with my little toad here. And again, I do this with puppies. I like to pet them, put my hands by their mouth, move my hand around by their face. It teaches them to be tolerant to that. I've done that with Kurgan and Lobo since they were puppies, and you can see that they're not food aggressive. Same thing with Ulu. You don't see the dogs trying to protect their food when my hand is going in there. You don't see them acting like I'm going to take it away. And that's because I've done this with them since they were old enough to eat. They don't consider me a challenge or a threat to what they're eating, and therefore don't try to guard or protect it. You can teach any dog at any age to not be food aggressive, but the best way to do it is to just start with them from the time they're puppies and keep it from ever forming. As I'm often fond of saying, I'm not an animal behaviorist. I'm not an expert, don't take my word for it. These are just things that I found work for me as somebody who's owned dogs for 30 years. I'll put a bunch of links in the video description regarding the kind of diet I feed my dogs. They do eat a BARF diet, which is an acronym for biologically appropriate raw foods. And for those who will ask, yes, it's okay for dogs to eat bones as long as the bones are raw. You never want to feed your dog cooked bones. Cooked bones are dangerous. They can cause bowel obstructions and perforations in the bowel because cooking the bone changes the consistency of it. Okay, now let's just see what happened there. He told the puppy not to mess with this piece. He didn't hurt him, and the puppy respected him. And that's what you want to teach the dogs. You know, if these puppies hadn't been taught that, when they were older, in a similar situation like that, they might fight. Kurgan is an unneutered male. And you can see, despite that, he's very good with puppies. Very tolerant of them. Again, for those who have questions, if he's food aggressive, I can pet him. I rub my hands by his face. You don't hear any growling. He's not protecting the food. Told you. Here's my Princess Ulu. She looks more and more like her daddy. At 14 weeks old, she's over 33 pounds. She's been gaining a little over 3 pounds a week lately. I attribute some of that to the raw diet. find puppies just thrive on it. Ogryn also. You can look, these dogs look extremely healthy. Nice vibrant coats. Look at the shine. Lobo too, look at his beautiful coat. I don't claim the raw diet is any kind of panacea, but I have noticed tons of positive health results in all the dogs that I have fed it. But don't take my word for it, do your research. There are a lot of self-proclaimed experts online. Very few of them are, and I freely admit I'm not one of them. My approach to all this is bro science. I freely admit that. It's all based on my experience. But hey, if it works for me, it works for me. Again, do your research. Do what works for you. Again, no food aggression at all. Look at that, I'm rubbing by his mouth, my hand there. No growling, nothing. I really find that this method works. Again, if you go back and look at my earlier feeding videos, I have feeding videos showing these two puppies here and their litter mates starting on a raw diet at 4 weeks old and feeding as a group. And again, what you're seeing now are the fruits of that. They're all well adjusted, they have good table manners, so to speak, meaning that they're not fighting with each other and trying to take each other's food away from them. How you doing, big man? Well, again, I hope you guys enjoyed this little window into seeing how I give these guys stuff as a group and teach my puppies not to be food aggressive, and my demonstration showing that my adult dogs are not food aggressive. Isn't he beautiful? I love this dog so much. He's the hands down smartest dog I have ever owned. The things he has figured out. At 6 months old, he knew how to open up my refrigerator and my back door. And the stuff he figures out and gets into is never ceases to amaze me. It's often when I've been training him that I only have to show him things a couple of times before he picks them up. He's not like any other dog I've ever owned. My pet monster. One last shot of Bo, and then we'll wind this one out. Again, all these dogs look healthy and beautiful, and I attribute that to their diet. I've got close to 80 feeding videos on my channel. I'll put a link to them in the video description if you want to see more of them. They show my dogs eating various things, and they show how I teach my puppies to eat raw food. Like, subscribe, and share. Hit that little notification bell down below, and you'll get email notifications when my new videos come out. Thanks for supporting the channel and watching the video. Bye. Bye from Mr. Lobo, Mr. Ogryn, my toad, Miss Ulu, and of course, Mr. Kurgan.